Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think it's already 4. We can start the session. We'll be looking at agreement and tense for today's class. You have subject verb agreement, right? For your in the syllabus, I think you have subject verb agreement. We'll discuss this. So most of what we are going to discuss today. So I am going to be focusing on one aspect mostly, which is the subject part of it, right? So uh, tense, we'll see if we require them. I don't think it's an absolutely necessary discussion, but if time allows, I don't want to discuss all the forms of tenses. That may be a little redundant to do, but I want to discuss something called the time adverbials, right? So we know how to use tense forms when you are given the verb. That is okay. But besides these, the obvious way in which you show tense in language, which is by inflecting the verb forms. We also have something called the time adverbials. So if the time allows us to do it today, we'll do it today. Otherwise, of course, next class we can do it. Okay. So uh, we will begin with the agreement part and then we'll move on to tense. Okay. So let's begin then. We'll have a very quick discussion on what this agreement means. So it's sometimes called agreement. More commonly, it is called agreement. But you will in maybe in the textbooks in written materials, you will see people referring to it as the subject verb agreement or sometimes the subject verb concord, right? Uh, CONCORD concord. So it's either subject verb agreement or subject verb concord. But in our terms, mostly we call it the agreement, the feature of agreement, grammatical agreement. That's the more commonly used term. Now, what is this agreement? So, because I mentioned the other part also, subject verb agreement, this is essentially, this is about how your subject and verb uh, of a given sentence behave in, form, right? So, when it's given in a sentence, you need to look at how the subject or the verb behaves, right? There's only one rule. The golden rule to this is that the subject of the sentence, right, agrees with the verb, or more appropriately, the verb of a sentence, right? You can find both these sentences in the literature, which is why I'm quoting both. But if you think about it logically, the more appropriate sentence would be that the verb of a sentence, it agrees with the subject of the sentence in number, person, and gender, right? So these three are called the markers of agreement in a given language. Okay, let me just, I think it's better that I leave some of these things in the chat also. So agreement in usually has three features, right? They call the five features, which is the person, the number, and the gender. Now, in English language, you do not have the gender, which means the verb is not sensitive to the gender. The verb doesn't change its inflection based on the gender of the subject in question. Whereas if you look at a language like Hindi, it does, right? The inflections on a verb uh, also changes based on the gender of the subject in question. So if it is a female, then the verb changes accordingly, right? The verb marking inflections change accordingly. If it's a male, then again there's a change based on that. And there are languages which have more than two genders, right? So Sanskrit has like say three gender system, or German has three gender system. There are several languages with three gender systems also. Most of them may have two gender systems, but there are with more of them as well. So the moment the subject changes, the nature of the subject, it's the gender nature of the subject changes, there's an inflection on the verb as well. But in English, gender is not a factor, right? No inflections are noticeable on a verb based on the gender, but it changes according to the number. Two things, number and the person, right? Now, what is number and person here? Number would be Singular or plural?
Singular or plural?
Yeah, singular plural distinction. So, given uh, based on the singularity or plurality of your subject, the verb is going to inflect accordingly. And person, of course, the first, second, third person, right? So, yeah, the person particularly is a little is an area of agreement in English which shows you a lot of irregular forms, right? So it is if I take an example of the verb go, right? If this is my example, then I have I go, right? We again go, you go, he, she, it goes, right? And then the last one is they go, right? This is usually the form. So except for the third person singular form, the verb does not inflect, right? In all the other forms, the verb inflects, doesn't inflect, remains the same. But only in the third person singular, there's an inflection which is goes, right? So the inflection of the verb is then in English sensitive only to the number and the person of the subject, right? Gender is not a question here. Subject verb agreement is basically this agreement, okay? This agreement between the verb and the subject to uh, behave as and according to the number and the person of the subject in question. That's all. This is the rule. Okay? There's nothing to be concerned about. Now, sometimes what happens is because in English, some people confuse the agreement marker in English with the tense mark, right? So if I have a sentence like, she lives in Chennai. This is my sentence. Uh, what is this? Is the verb inflected here? What is the verb in the sentence? She lives in Chennai.
Live is the verb and it's inflected.
Hmm. It is inflected, right? So the verb is inflected here. Is the uh, Now let me give you another example. She lived in Chennai. She lived in Chennai. What is the verb here?
Lived.
Live, right? Again, the verb here is lived. Live. But it is inflected. Is it inflected or not inflected? It is, right? The inflection is marked using the suffix ed, right, which is a past tense marker. And in the first sentence, she lives in Chennai. What is the marker of the present tense? She lives in Chennai. She lives in Chennai.
Yes, I guess.
Don't guess it. Look at the sentence carefully. So she lives in Chennai. She lived in Chennai. This past tense is not a problem for us. Okay, that is done and dusted. It is your marker. But how about the present tense? She lives in Chennai. You say probably S is the marker, right? So this is exactly the thing that I wanted to bring to your attention. And this is why knowing agreement is important, right? In English, the simple present tense marker, we are only discussing the simple markers, right? Simple present tense and simple past tense. Future tense also, if you may, you can add, but the future tense sentences, they have a very obvious marker. So I did not bring it here, right? So she will live in Chennai, will is your marker, right? So there's no point of discussion. It's a separate word. It's not an inflection on the verb itself. Since we are talking about the inflections, only the past and the present matters at this point, right? So a lot of people would have a tendency to look at the S in lives, the S sound there as the marker of past tense. Keep in mind, sorry, present tense. Keep this in mind that in the English language, the simple present tense marker is not overtly present, right? You can't see it on the verb, right? This sir that you see in the verb live, right? Lives. This is a marker of agreement. This is not a marker of tense, right? In English, the present simple present tense marker is absent. You can't see it. And when I say absent, I don't mean that you don't have it. It is only a logical thing, conceptual thing. You cannot see it as a linguistic element like ed, the suffix ed, as you see in the case with the past tense word lived. This S that you see in live is then not a present tense marker. What is it? It is an agreement marker. Now, how do you understand that? Let's change the number of the subject in she lives in Chennai. Okay. Let's say they. If I change the subject to they, then what do you write?
They live in Chennai.
They live in Chennai. Right? They live in Chennai. So, so then, is this a present tense sentence or a past tense sentence? What is it? What is the tense of the sentence? They live in Chennai.
Present tense.
Present tense.
What do you say?
Can you see? Can you see the marker anywhere? Does the verb show any marker? Is it
No more.
indicative of any? No. Right. So there's no marker. That's the point I'm trying to say. So the S that you see in she lives in Chennai is then an agreement marker. Okay. It's an agreement marker, not a tense marker. So she lives in Chennai, but they live in Chennai. You changed the first case, you had a singular subject she, and hence the verb inflected to agree with the singular subject, added an S to the verb to show that this is a singular subject, right? She lives in Chennai. You change the subject to a plural subject, it becomes they, and then the verb agrees with the subject again here, agrees with the plural subjects, removes the S in order to be in the agreement, right? So this is what subject to verb agreement basically is, right? It's a simple concept, but because of the idiosyncrasies of the grammatical representation, people can mistake agreement markers to be tense markers, particularly in the case of the present tense in English, right? So this is one point I wanted to talk to you about. Now, as far as the concept of subject verb agreement is concerned, this is all, right? There is no other complication in it. Things become a little difficult in English, or people get the questions in subject verb agreement wrong, not because they don't understand the concept, it's because they don't have a fair and good understanding or depth in the understanding of the nature of subjects in English, right? Subjects could be of different types in English. It is not always ordinarily she and he and they or some name of a person or anything. There could be more complex subjects, right? The nature of the subject can be a bit more complex in the English language, and that can cause some confusion with respect to identifying the right form of the verb to make it in agreement with the subject, right? So in the exercise that we have here, we are going to pay some special attention to this part, right? We are not just going to look at the right answers of the agreement. We are also going to look at the nature of the subjects, right? That is what is more important for us in this one. Okay. So we'll start looking at the questions, and as we move forward, we can identify some of them, right? So let's look at the first one. Millie and her brothers are at school. Is the subject here singular or plural? Millie and her brothers are at school. We have
Or
a subject, or we have a plural subject. It is and, no, Millie and her brothers. So obviously we are talking about we have more than one subject at hand. There's Millie and there's also her brothers, right? And her brothers, a compound subject, right? So this is a plural subject, and hence your verb has to agree with the subject, has to be plural. So the choice is are.
Or
Millie and her brothers are at school, right? Now, second one, either my mother or my father are coming to the meeting. Are we talking about a singular subject or a plural subject? Either my mother or my father,
singular.
singular, right? So we are not saying both. We are saying either this or that. So the choice is between one or whatever you have, right? It's not going to be the both the subjects, right? It's going to be either the mother or the father. One person is going to come. Okay. So either my mother or my father is coming to the meeting, right? So this is the difference between the compound subject and the subject that gives an alternative or a choice. Okay. Now, how about the next one? The dog or the cats are outside. The dog or the cats are outside.
Or the cats
Are.
is
Now,
plural.
The cats is plural. Now, why should that be the case? In the previous case, it was easier for us, right? Because both those subjects were singular, and anyway, we were talking about a choice. In the third question, again, we have a choice, but then what we don't know, or the difference is that we have one of it as a plural and the other as a singular. So, why do you choose the are and not is in this case?
The nearest noun is plural. The
Nearest noun,
subject.
right? Nearest noun is plural. If you reverse its order, right? If I am going to change the order of their appearance, if I say the cats or the dog, then what happens to the sentence?
Is outside.
Hmm? Is again the same principle, right? You're going to use the subject that is closer. So you said the noun that is closer, right? So a better way to phrase it is to use be for the subject verb agreement. We always follow the subject that is closer to the verb, right? Whatever the person and the number of the subject is to the one that is closer to the verb, that is the one which reflects onto the verb, right? The verb will agree only with that. So the near proximity of the subject is a quotient in subject verb agreement. Okay, now 4a, either my shoes, I think they're of similar nature. You can, I think, understand that. Either my shoes or your coat is are always on the floor.
Is.
Either my shoes or your coat is are always on the floor.
Is.
Yeah, so either my shoes or your coat is always on the floor, right? Coat is singular, so is always on the floor. And you reverse the order, what happens? Either your coat or my shoes. Shoes is singular or plural?
Singular, ma'am, I guess. Singular. Because,
Shoes.
yeah, we are.
Ma'am, but we use a plural form because it considered a pair, right? So we use plural.
So is shoes singular or plural? That's the question. And because we don't have pair of shoes, right? We're not saying pair of shoes.
Singular.
Plural, ma'am.
Shoes is plural. Shoes is usually you say when you see you mean pair of shoes, but every time people are not going to say a pair of shoes. People would just say shoes. It's also because you can say shoe, right? Shoe is a singular form, right? People can say, bring me one, get me the shoe. It's not shoes all the time. So if it has a singular form, then of course, right? So it's a plural one. So you move it either your coat or my shoes. Then what happens to the verb here? Becomes plural. So either your coat or my shoes are always on the floor, not is. Okay? Shoes is plural. Then fifth one, George and Tamara don't want to see that movie. So again, you have a compound subject here. George
Don't.
and Tamara don't, right? Don't. George and Tamara, you have two subjects now. It's a plural subject, compound subject. So don't. Okay. George and Tamara don't want to see that movie. Then sixth one, Benito dash know the answer, doesn't, don't. Benito
Doesn't.
is what? Singular. Yeah, so doesn't. It's a singular person, so doesn't know the answer. Seventh one. Now, these are all different kinds of another kind of subject, right? One of my sisters are going on a trip to France. One of my sisters are going on a trip to France. Are we talking about many sisters or are we talking about one sister? One of my sisters.
One sister.
One system is.
One
Many
sister,
system
right?
in
One
one.
Correct. One of my sisters. So obviously there are many sisters, but then we are not talking about all of them. We are talking about one among them. One of my sisters. So the subject is then singular, right? Not plural. So what would be the answer then?
Is.
Is, right? One of my sisters is going on. So don't get trapped with the word sisters, is the point. Okay. So you look at the subject that is closer to the verb, you see sisters, and you're like, okay, sisters are going on a trip. But this is a phrase, it's a phrasal subject. One of my sisters, okay, is going on a trip to France. We're talking about one among the many sisters. Okay. Now, eighth one, the man with all the birds lives on my street. Same thing. People might have a tendency to choose the plural R because birds, right? But is birds the subject of the sentence? What is the subject of the sentence?
The man.
The man. The man is the subject, right? With all the birds is an interfering phrase. You can remove that phrase and still have a sentence, right? Grammatical sentence. The man lives on my street. Okay. So the man with all the birds lives on my street, not live on my street. Okay. Ninth one, the movie, including all the previews, takes about 2 hours to watch. Subject of the sentence is
The movie.
the movie, right? So then what is going to be the verb here?
Takes.
Takes, right? Singular subject, so singular verb takes. The movie, including all the previews, takes about 2 hours to watch. Okay. 10th one, the players as well as the captain wants to win. Subject is
Players.
the players, right? And that's a plural subject. So what is the choice of the verb here?
Want.
Want. The players as well as the captain want to win. Want to win. Yes.
Ma'am, is it the case that the subject will be the first one? If they're talking about two things, the subject should be the first one, or how is it, ma'am?
No, it's not like that. So, see, you need to decipher the subject from the sentence entirely. So, when I say the players as well as the captain, right? So, if you remove the players, right, you take only the second part as well as the captain wants to win. Is that a grammatical sentence? No,
Incomplete
right?
sentence, right?
It's incomplete. But I can remove as well as the captain and have a good sentence. I can say the players want to win. That is a good sentence. That's a grammatical sentence, right? Which tells us that the phrase as well as the captain, this is basically just an interfering phrase. It is not an essential component of that sentence. Grammatically, it is not essential. Of course, it's adding some meaning and value, it's giving some description, but it's not a grammatically very important component. Something becomes grammatically indispensable only when its absence is going to create some kind of an ungrammaticality, and that is not applicable to as well as the cap, right? So you judge the sentence accuracy based on this. You remove that phrase, your sentence is entirely disintegrated. You cannot have it. So then you look at the other part, whichever one makes it fully correct, right? Makes it grammatical. Take that bit and see what is a subject. Only that bit can give you the subject. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Correct. 11th one, yeah, this is again distributive. Sorry, the distributive pronouns, right? So we know that our subjects are not always nouns; they're most of the times even pronouns. And while nouns have various categories, similarly, your pronouns also have several categories. I am not sure if you have forgotten about them. You would have obviously learned a lot of them at schools as well. So, in the noun category, you can have the proper nouns, of course. You can have common nouns, you can have material nouns, you have abstract nouns, right? You have collective nouns. Um, a lot of them, countable, uncountable nouns. But as subjects, of course, we are not going to look at countability. Mostly we stick with common noun, proper noun, abstract noun, material noun, collective noun. So this is the varieties you have for the nouns, types of nouns. Similarly, you have it for pronouns as well. Right? So you have your common pronouns, personal pronouns like I, we, you, he, she, they, right? And then you also have other kind of pronouns, right? You have indefinite pronouns, like somebody, something, anybody, nobody, no one, thing, everybody, everything. You have some distributive pronouns as well, which are these, either or, every one of, each of. These are all that category. So these are different kinds of subjects that you can encounter. That's my point, right? It's not always going to be as simple as nouns. but you'll also get pronouns and not just simpler pronouns. The other kind of pronouns will also make an entry as subjects. So the first one here, 11th one, either answer is are acceptable. Either answer is are acceptable. What
It's a
are we
plural.
talking about? Are we talking about both? Is it plural? Either answer. Either answer is so. Are we saying both are acceptable, or are we saying one of the two are acceptable?
I think both the answer
Mm.
is the meaning of that, I
Yeah.
guess.
You're saying that we're saying that both of them are acceptable, is it?
Both
Then
of
why
them.
are we not saying both answers are acceptable? Why are we saying either answer acceptable? If that is the case, then we should have said both answers are acceptable, right?
Okay. Either one of the answer that is
That is the
single.
expansion. That is the expansion, right? Either one of the two. Even though we are not writing it entirely, when we say either answer, but the reference is this. What you're trying to say is that either this or that, both are not acceptable. Okay, either one of that is okay, right? You take either this or that. We don't need both. We only are looking for one, and that could be any among the given two. That's what. The choice is still you have an option of two, but then the choice is going to be only one. So
Only one.
again, the subject is singular, right? So either answer is acceptable, not are acceptable. Okay, the same thing would be applicable to some of the things that we're going to discuss. 12th one, every one of those books. Every one of those books is art fiction.
It's plural.
Is it plural? Look at it, every one of these books.
It's a plural. It's
Hmm.
collective. It's everyone, so it's plural.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, any other answers? Every one of these books again is every one of these books is fiction. So see, we are referring to a collection, but within that collection, we are making an individual reference to each of the units. Every one of these books, which means every book, every single book among the given collection is a fiction. That is what we are saying. References to individual units.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
Okay. So again, every one of these books is fiction. Because if it's the other way, then what would you say? If you have to say, you have to refer to all the books,
All the books.
right? All the books are fiction, right? Instead of that, you chose to say each one of these books, right? Which means, although I'm referring to the collection, I'm referring to individual units, individual books in that collection, right? Yeah. Now, next one, 13. Nobody no knows the trouble I've seen. So this is nobody is an example of an indefinite pronoun. So we're saying nobody, but then we don't know the exact count, right? It's like saying everybody. When you say everybody, again, you don't know. It's everybody, are you right? Nobody no knows the trouble I've seen. Singular, this is again. Okay. So all these indefinite pronouns also have singular reference. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Okay. All of them are singular. 14th one is are the news at 5. Yeah. Go ahead. Ask your question.
Ma'am, is everybody that is also singular, ma'am?
Singular. Yes.
Okay,
Everybody is also singular.
singular.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, 14th one is are the news at 5 or 6. Now, some of these words in English which are inherently, they look like they are plural, but then they have singular usage, right? News, mathematics, civics, physics, all of them, they look like they are
Singular.
plural, but they look like they're plural, but they are singular, right? So, is the news at 5 or 6, right? Not are the news at 5 or 6. Similarly, 15th, mathematics is our John's favorite subject.
That 14th question was there in yesterday's exam quiz too.
Ah, good. Is the
In the
news at
news
5 or 6?
comes, the news come at come or comes. We have to choose between come or comes, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So singular usage. News has a singular usage. So what about this one? 15th mathematics is our John's favorite subject.
Singular.
Singular. Right? Mathematics is John's favorite subject, while civics is Andrea's favorite subject again. Right. 16th one. $8 is the price of a movie these days.
$8 or no, $8 is the price.
Yeah. Why is that so? You're right. $8 is the price of a movie these days. But
And
why?
quantity is generally
Hmm.
considered singular, but if you talk about dollars, it's plural, I guess. Dollars are costlier than rupee, something like that.
Oh, that's okay. Uh, but why are we saying $8 is singular? That's the point here.
When we talk about the quantity,
Hmm.
we generally use singular, I guess. Like
No, that's not exactly the answer, but it's related to the unit reference, right? So
We are talking
$8
about
is
one currency here. That's why it's just
sorry, we are
dollars.
talking about.
Like we are, if we say one currency, like we are just talking about dollars here. That's why it is referred to as a.
We are just talking about dollars here. Yeah, I mean, you're still not closer to the answer, but I think you've given some partial sense of it, right? So, see, the reason is when you consider the amount of money, any amount of money as a singular unit, right? Then it takes a singular verb. It's the $8 here is one unit, right? It's not you're not counting $8. You're saying that is that's the price tag for that ticket, right? So then it's a singular unit, $8, right? I think there was some other example I'm looking for that here. Look at this one. Look at sentence number 19, right? There were 15 candies in that bag. Compare this with $8 is the price of a movie these days. So here in the 16th sentence, you are considering that amount of money, $8 as a single unit. So you're not counting it as a currency. It is an amount of money, right? An amount of money is a singular unit, right? Hence, $8 is the price of a movie these days. But that's not the case with the 19th one, right? This is 15 candies in that bag. So you cannot say there is 15 candies in that bag. You have to say there are 15 candies, right? There we are talking about 15 separate independent units as opposed to $8, which together is a singular unit. See the difference? So even though there is a countability factor in there in terms of number, both of them behave separately. And this behavior of both the units both the 16th sentence $8 and the 19th sentence 15 candies is because of the difference in their nature. Okay? One is treated as a single unit as an amount of money, and the other one are the candies are separate, independent, different entities. Got it? Okay, so $8 is the price of a movie. Is that understood, guys?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now look at 17th one. Is are the tweezers in this drawer? So tweezers, jeans, pants. Do all of them do they have singular usage or plural usage in English? Do you say jean or pant? Or we say pant, I know that, but actually the usage is pants. You don't say tweezer or tweeze. It's always tweezer, scissor, right? Scissors, always, right? So do they have singular usage or plural usage?
Plural.
If they have plural usage, then what should be the right thing? Is our tweezers in this drawer?
Are.
Ah, okay. So is the tweezers the in this drawer is not right, right? You have to say are the tweezers, right? All of these because see they are inherently a pair, right? You cannot have a scissor working on its own. It needs to have both its hands. Same for the pants and for the tweezers and for jeans and everything, right? So inherently pluralistic in nature, which is why you have to use again. If the subject is treated plurally, then of course the verb also has to follow the course, right? So are the tweezers in this drawer? Similarly, 18th one, your pants are at the cleaners.
Same,
Your
ma'am.
pants are at the cleaners, right? Yeah. 19th we already discussed, but I didn't. The second part of it, I think we haven't. So there were 15 candies in that bag. Now there are only one left. Now there are only one. You have the number.
Number, yes. First is plural,
Independent,
second
right? So
is
there is one. There is only one left. Okay. Then 20th one, the committee debate these questions carefully.
the committee put together seen as one, so it's debates.
Yes, it's a plural usage. Committee is a plural usage. Sorry, singular usage. So it's going to be the committee debates, right? Debates these questions carefully. But 21st one, the committee members or the members of the committee, then
It's plural.
plural. Now it is plural. So the committee members or the members of the committee lead very different lives in private. Okay. Then the 22nd one, the prime minister together with his wife greet the press cordially.
Greets. Only the prime minister is
Greets.
subject.
Only the correct. So greets because only the prime minister is the subject. Together with his wife is an interfering phrase which you can remove if you want and have a grammatical sentence, right? So prime minister is the subject. So the prime minister together with his wife greets the press cordially. 23rd, all of the CDs, even the scratched one, are in this case.
Are.
Are, right? Plural subject, obviously. All of the CDs, even the scratched one, are in this case. Okay. Now, let's move on to, I think this one has the distributive pronouns mostly. Yeah, go ahead. Questions?
Ma'am, when we talk about dollars, I have two sentences. Dollars are pricier than rupee. That is one sentence. And
Mhm.
the dollars is the choice of currency to pay here. So in these two cases, first I have used plural and second I have used singular. Is that correct, ma'am?
First sentence is dollars are pricier than, yeah, that is correct. That is correct.
The second sentence,
Dollars are pricier. Second sentence was, sorry, please
the
repeat it for me.
the
Ah,
dollars is
ah,
the choice
ah.
of currency to pay over here.
Dollars is the choice of currency. That is also fine. Is this
So
correct?
dollars we use as a
Ah.
unit, right? In the second sentence.
The second sentence, it's the name of the currency, right? Yeah.
Yes. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
and there was a question yesterday.
Ah.
Mm, the question is neither my father nor my brother
Mm.
does care of dishes. So
Mm.
here, neither or nor, it should
Mm.
take singular, takes care of dishes.
Yeah. All those distributive ones behave the same way. You use a singular form for all of them. If your subject closer to the verb is singular, then you use a singular form. So,
Singular only.
yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So this question again, you're going to use your subject is again distributive form. So you're going to say each and every and every one of and all of and most of, that kind of formulations. So let's see this one. The first one, where did everyone dash goes this afternoon? Where did everyone go or goes?
Goes.
Where did everyone go goes? Now this is a special case. This is an interrogative sentence. So uh, Usually in interrogative sentences, what do you say? Where did everyone see? The tense is already out. So where did everyone go this
Go.
afternoon? Not goes. Okay. Where did everyone go this afternoon? Okay. Second one, sometimes it feels like everyone on social media is are having more fun than us. Everyone on social media is are having more fun than us. Sometimes it feels like, read the sentence carefully. Sometimes it feels like everyone on social media is are having more fun. They're distributive, right? We discussed two of them in the previous exercise. So based on that, you can answer. Everyone on social media. Are we talking about a group of people?
No, no, single.
Well, yeah, we are. We are talking about a group of people, but the reference is singular. That is the thing, right? It's a very special kind of a thing. It's distributive. So we are talking about a large group, okay, but an indefinite group. And we are talking about every single person of that unit, every single unit of that whole collection, right? So the reference is singular. We are talking about the whole group, but we are the references that we are making is to the single unit. That's the difference. So again, singular verb. Sometimes it feels like everyone on social media is having more fun than us. Reference is singular. Okay, keep this in mind. Same goes to the next one. Can you believe that every one of her car tires is are flat today? Every one of her car tires. So references again, individual, right? We are giving individual reference, making individual references. We're talking about all of them, but then the reference is singular. Every one of her car tires is or are
Is.
flat today. Okay, is flat today. Fourth one again, each and every one of the stars in the sky have has emitted light for millions of years.
Has.
Sorry,
Has.
has, right? Has. So each and every one of the stars in the sky has emitted light for millions of years. Now, every one of my Google searches mention how everyone is are obsessed with the new actor. Every one of my Google searches mention how everyone is or are obsessed with the new actor.
Mentions is.
First one is mentions. Yeah, every one of my Google searches mentions how everyone
Is.
Is obsessed.
is obsessed with the new actor. Okay, every one of my Google searches mentions how everyone is obsessed with the new actor. Sixth one, everybody know the truth.
No.
Everybody
Knows the truth.
knows the truth. Everybody knows the truth. Okay, again, same thing. Reference is individual. Everybody, every single person. Is what it is. Everybody knows the truth. Seventh one, at night with the lights shining on the water, everything look different. Everything similar to this one.
Look.
Everything everything looks different, right? Again, similar to sentence number 6, right? Everybody, I told you this is individual reference. Same thing applies to everything. You're only changed the nature of the subject. I mean, not the nature of the subject, the kind of the subject. So this was everybody, and now we are talking about things, everything. So everything looks different. Again, singular. Remember, for all the distributive kind of pronouns, the verb remains singular, right? That's the point. Then eighth one, I couldn't get a seat everywhere. Now see, everybody, everything, everywhere were so crowded.
Was.
Was everywhere was so crowded. Singular use again. Ninth one, she knows everybody
She
in the
knows.
room. She knows. Of course, she knows. 10th. His name was Henry, but everyone calls him Harry.
Calls.
Calls. Okay, everyone calls him. Every single person calls him. That is what it is. Okay, so in the subject verb agreement part, you need to be careful about the subject more than anything else. Verb is simply following the course. It looks at the subject and decides whether it needs to inflect for singularity or plural. Okay, that's all. So we need to be more cautious about the kind of subjects we are dealing with. Once you have a clear idea about what kind of subject you have, the agreement never goes wrong after it, right? Okay. Now, a quick recap on tense and time adverbials. I'm not going to brief you on anything, but can you take a while and solve this exercise? Read it once, read the first sentence entirely, and then return to the blanks. David dash take this book yesterday from the library. His brother dash it now. He return it tomorrow. He dash borrow books from the library for the last few years. What is the first blank? David dash take this book yesterday from
Took.
the library. Took. David took this book yesterday from the library. Okay. His brother dash read it now.
Read it.
His brother dash read it now. So this is where I want you to start focusing on the time adverbials. The first one you have here is yesterday in the first line. So instead of inflecting the verb, you can also use time adverbials to indicate time. It's not just the tense there. So in the first line, it is yesterday. Second line, it is now. When you say now,
Is
something
reading it.
is reading, right? Is reading it now. His brother is reading it now. Then he
Will return it tomorrow.
he will return it tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is your clue here. So this is again another time adverbial indicating future reference. He will return it tomorrow. He dash borrow books from the library for the last few years. For the last few years has been happening over a period of time, right? But from the past. Sorry, no, it has a connection with the remote past and is continuing now. So it has to
Was
be the present
borrowing books.
perfect.
has been
Has been borrowed. So present perfect continuous. Has been borrowing books from the library for the for the last few years. Okay. For the last few years, right? This is again a time adverbial. That does not directly indicate any tense inflection, but the phrase tells you about the meaning more clear. Now, second one, we dash move to Mumbai when I dash B6, I dash B28 now. We dash live in the city for 22 years. First one,
We moved to Chennai when I was 6.
we moved to Mumbai. Yeah, we moved to Mumbai when I was 6, correct? Yes, then I
Am
dash, uh, I am, I am, yes, I am 28 now. So again, you have the time adverbial here, present tense, marking the present form. We dash live in the city for 22 years. For 22 years.
we have been living.
Correct. Very good. We have been living in the city for 22 years. Correct. So now 2 years ago for 22 years, right? Where is 2 years? 2 years ago? Okay, no. So you have now and 22 years for 22 years as your time at workplace. Third one, today I dash reach the railway station a little late. My friend dash be waiting there for me. He dash say that he dash wait for me for half an hour. Today I dash reach the railway station.
Reached.
Today I reached the railway station a little late, right? So today is also a time marker here, adverbial here. Okay, I reached the railway station a little late. Okay, my friend dash be waiting there for me. My friend what is the answer?
Is waiting for me. Is waiting.
Why is eight? So you're saying today I dash reached the railway station a little late, and you said today I reached the railway station a little late. So after that, can you say my friend is waiting there for me?
Has been
So one
waiting
thing
there
is when
for
you're
me.
writing it in, uh, so before I say anything, the first one, um, first thing you need to keep in mind because you're going to get questions. I think you've already had such questions in the exam, right? So tense consistency is one thing. If you're using one tense, then you need to maintain that tense, right? Uh, so where is it? Wait a
Ma'am, I
second.
have a doubt. In the first,
Yes,
yes, today I reached the railway station a little late. Past
huh,
tense of reach.
correct.
Okay. Then
Reach would
in
be
the second,
past tense.
ah,
Hmm.
past tense. My friend has been waiting there for me.
My friend has been uh,
Waiting there
waiting
for
there
me.
for me. Okay. My friend has been waiting there for me. Yes, okay, that's right. Then he dash say that he dash wait for me for an hour. He said, right? He said
Okay.
that
He said
he
that
has been,
he
uh,
had waited for me for an half an hour.
he has been for, see, because it has for, right? See, whenever you have for in since, it needs to have a component of the perfect as well as the continuous form, right? It's a period of time. So he said that he has been waiting for me for half an hour. Okay. Or he had been waiting for me for half an hour because you've already mentioned it in the previous things, the past tense. Okay. He
He
said that
had
he
been
had been
waiting.
waiting for me for half an hour. Okay. Do not forget the perfective form and the continuous form when you're talking about, especially the time adverbials with for and since. Okay. It's very important. Then fourth one, we have no house of our own and we dash want to build one. Last month we dash buy a plot of land. The construction of the house dash not begin yet. We dash start work next month. We have no house of our own.
We wanted to build one.
And we want to build one. Correct, right? We want to build one. So here we don't have any explicit time adverbial, but we are depending more on the tense verb inflection here. We have no house of our own and we want to build one. Last month we dash buy a plot of land. Last month. This is your
What?
time
Bought.
adverbial here.
We bought a
Last
plot of land.
we bought a plot of
Bought.
land, right? We bought a plot. Correct. We bought a plot of land. The construction of the house dash not begin yet. Yet is your clue. Yet is your
Has not
time
begun.
adverbial.
Has not begun yet.
Has not begun yet. Has not begun yet. The construction of the house has not begun yet. Correct. So present perfect because you have the yet adverbial here. We dash start work next month.
We will start work
Next
next
month.
month.
Yeah, correct. Correct. Future reference, right? We will start work next month. So, point here is that when you have time adverbials in the sentence, they give you clues on, what forms of verb can be used. Sometimes they come with the time adverbials. Sometimes the time adverbials are not explicitly mentioned. But if you're in confusion, what you should do is you should try to add some of these time adverbials with your sentence. If you're not able to decide whether a given form is you know past tense or is it present perfect, past perfect, what you could do is you could add some of these time adverbials to the sentence and see if it fits well. Then you know your answer is correct. And another point is that in the English language and in all other languages, we are not entirely dependent on the verb inflections to show time, to refer to time. We also have these time adverbials like yesterday, today, now, tomorrow, for the last few years, ago, a few years ago, for 22 years, okay, for half an hour, yet, you know. All of these, they act as time adverbials to indicate time. Okay? We can show future time, past time, present perfect timing, continuous timing. All of it is possible using these time adverbials also. Okay, so that is one point that you need to take away from this. Okay, so I think that is enough for today. We've covered, I think, both what I wanted to do. We did agreement and we also did the tense. Okay. Specific forms I do not wish to discuss because you have the video lectures on them. I don't want to repeat any of those here. You can keep practicing them. But I wanted to do these 4 questions that paragraph style question because your exam usually you get them and they mostly look for tense consistencies. Right? You begin with the tense, you need to complete it with the same, unless, of course, the time adverbials indicate something else, as in this case. But otherwise, mostly tense consistency must be. Okay. Okay. Any questions that you have? If not, we are done for today. We can wrap up. We'll meet next week. I think most probably stress for you. Next week is how many weeks of content are released for you? Huh?
Ma'am, 8 week is over now. Ninth is going on, but till 10 week, I guess it's released.
Till next week, we would have been, I think the 10th would be released, right? By next week.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So hardly there is like 3 or 4 weeks left then. But- So yeah. Any questions other than that? Someone's hand was raised, but I did not see the voice. Nothing? Yeah, Prakash?
Ma'am, so in the time adverbials,
Huh.
so it's advised to read the whole paragraph
Hmm.
and then answer the questions, right, ma'am? Because at the end, if the time adverbial is there, then we have to change all the answers, right? So, for
Yeah,
instance, the third
correct. You
question.
need to read the whole of the given sentences. There'll be 3 or 4 of them. Read all of them first, and then decide upon what you have to choose. Okay,
Okay,
right?
okay, ma'am. So, is there any mm, how can we practice the time adverbials in a better way? Like, is there any?
Any you can find plenty of worksheets online. Just go type in time adverbials. If not, just ask even ChatGPT to generate a worksheet for you. It can do the job. A big deal. We can practice that way also. Many worksheets are available online. Books will have, but then you'll have to then take the stress of finding out books for yourself. But use your internet; it's free. You can find several worksheets online. Just go type in time adverbials practice sheet PDF, or just ask your good friend ChatGPT to help you. They
Okay,
can
ma'am.
also generate videos. Huh? That will be
Yes,
useful.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
All
That's
right.
it. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, everyone. See you next week again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Sure.
you, ma'am.
See you.
Thank you.